everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are making more holiday cards, and these are the two that you're going to learn how to paint. So let's jump right into the video. Okay, so today we are doing two more simple holiday card designs. Now these ones are going to be a bit more loose and, in my opinion, a bit easier. So what I always do with my cards, because I find some watercolor cards that you can get don't take the pigment as well. So use a watercolor paper that you really enjoy. I am using B watercolor paper. I know it's hard to find right now, but I just had some leftovers. So that's what I'm using. Otherwise, I would probably cut Arches watercolor paper and then we would glue it onto some sort of cardstock pre-made card after. Okay, so I'm using my B watercolor paper, my Winsor Newton Professional Watercolors, and I have my Princeton snap brushes in a size 6 and a size 2. And maybe a size 12 if I'm feeling it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's start with the first design and get right into it. Okay, so for this one, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing some loose kind of winter, like pine cones and stuff like that. But instead of having it right in the middle, it's gonna come from the bottom. And this is just a really nice design that you can do. So we're gonna start with some pine cones. I did pine cones last year. Well, one design with a pine cone, and it's actually fairly easy. So I'm gonna grab my lighter brown, which is my burnt umber. Okay. And we're gonna have maybe like 1, and then a small one, 2, 3. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna turn your paintbrush upside down and do kind of like these upside down teardrop shapes like this. And these are loose pine cones, okay? And you're just gonna kind of start making it bigger towards the bottom like that. Just keep going out a bit more. And it doesn't have to be perfect teardrop shapes, especially as you get closer to the bottom. And they're just gonna kind of flatten it out at the bottom like this. Then you're gonna take your darker brown. If you don't have a darker brown, I'm using sepia, but you would just mix a bit of black with your burnt umber. I'm just gonna take that darker brown and I'm just gonna tap kind of the underneath of some of those little upside down like teardrop shapes. And it will act as a shadow like that. Honestly, so simple. Okay, let's do another little one. Okay, so grab my burnt umber. Let's do a smaller one here. Okay, so just brushes upside down on an angle. And you're just, as they go out to the side of the pine cone, you're just kind of slightly turning your brush. And then flatter at the bottom, grab your darker bits, tap it in there, like that. Okay. And then maybe I'll do another, I'm trying to think of where I want to put this. Maybe like half of one over here. So I'll just do like it's coming off the page. Okay, and then get the darker bits. Really doesn't have to be difficult. And maybe let's have one coming from down here. Oops. So it's kind of like this pine tree is going to be kind of branching from the bottom of this card, and then we'll write something like a little message at the top. Okay, get your darker brown and tap it in there. Okay, now I'm going to take my size 2 brush and I'm going to take my, actually no, I was going to do burnt umber first, but I'm not. Okay, we're going to make kind of like a blue spruce tree, pine needle thing. I don't know. It's not pine. You know what I mean? The tree enthusiasts are going to be after me. It's fine. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, but I want that kind of like blue spruce look. So I'm mixing Hooker's Green Dark with Dioxazine Purple. And it creates this really nice dark green. Then I'm going to add a bit of turquoise for a bit of a blue into it. There we go. And I'm just going to start by creating a stem, and then we're going to do some pine needles coming off of it. And you don't want them like uniform. You can have them going different ways. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, while it's still wet, I'm going to grab a bit of my burnt umber and go up the center of the stem. So you get a little bit of that brown in there. Okay. Let's do another one. So it can be quite messy. Get your brown, go up the center. I love this color. Okay, let's do another one coming up this way. Grab our burnt umber, right up the center there, like so. Honestly, this design is so easy. Grab your burnt umber. Like that. Let's do another this way. And you're just filling it in. Like that. And you could do more or less, whatever you want. However you feel it would look best. Okay, but I love the way that brown kind of bleeds into the pine or the whatever. And if you want, you could always do just a couple up here just to have it coming diagonally. I'm doing it a bit lighter over here. Totally up to you though. Bit of brown. Like that. You could always do a little bit of a top of a pine cone up there if you like. Honestly, however you want it. No wrong way to do this. Okay, so there is our first design. And what I think I'm gonna do is take my gold palette, just because, especially with like holiday cards, I really like having that touch of gold or silver. It just adds something to it. So I'm just gonna take my yellowy gold color here. Actually, I'm gonna do this kind of bronzy one a bit more. Adding water to it. It's just a fine tech palette that I got a long time ago. I think I have a link to something similar on Amazon in my description. And we're not going to do it around the whole border. We're just going to do it around the parts where there is not any watercolor. So I'm going to start here. And I'm just doing freehand. Try the best you can. Does not have to be straight. Okay, I like it kind of when it looks like it's been done freehand. Okay, I'm gonna try and square off that border like that. And if you don't have a gold palette or anything like that, you don't need one. You could always use like a red little outline or just do it right with watercolor. Okay, that was a little bit wonky. Oh well, it's all good. This is really not a straight line. But yeah, you could do it with red, you could do it with the green color, and it will still look really nice. Okay, and then once that's dry, we can add a little message on top and stick it onto our card. Okay, and so for our second card, see that first one was pretty easy and simple and quick. Our second card, we're gonna do more of a green and red vibe. So let's start with some cadmium red deep. If you have COTMAN, I'm using Winsor red. And I'm just gonna start with some berries. Okay. And I like to leave a little bit of a white highlight on there. Like that, grab a bit more pigment, drop it in there. Some parts are lighter, some parts are darker. Like that. And do a little cluster down here. Okay. I don't really have any kind of way that I'm deciding of where to put them. I'm just trying to make them, I don't know, look kind of random and natural. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my sepia color here, which is just a dark brown, a little bit of burnt umber maybe. And we're gonna do some stems. So I'm gonna have a stem coming up. It's gonna hit the berries. And so it can bleed into the berries a bit. And you kind of want them all connecting to each other. So they can all come off this one stem. They're little clusters. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little top to these, little kind of piece at the top. Like that, just a little boop. Okay, and now let's get our green. Okay, so let's do some dark green. So I'm going to do the Hooker's green and dioxazine purple again for a nice dark green. And I'm just going to do some big leaves coming off of these. Over some of the stems, okay? And they can definitely bleed into some of the berries if you want. It's kind of a nice look too. Now I'm going to grab my sap green to change up the green a bit. Get a different color here. And try and go behind some of those leaves. And don't have them perfect. We can change up the contrast of some, doing some lighter, some darker. Okay, you want it kind of loose and messy. Okay, and then I'm just going to extend these leaves over here a bit. And then up this side. So I'm doing some darker, some lighter. And I might grab a bit of darkness and just tap it into some of those lighter ones. Okay. Okay, very loose. Don't worry too much about the shape. Okay. And then if you want, you can add a couple more berries wherever you see it could use some a bit more red. So maybe we'll do like one here. It's gonna blend kind of into that green leaf. That's totally cool. Maybe one over here, like they're poking behind. wherever you think they might look good. Then I'm gonna take my smaller brush, I'm gonna take some brown, and we're just gonna do some like little twigs. You can go over some of those branches again. I'm gonna get a darker brown. You can use black if you want, black and brown. I'm just gonna do some little branches. Just using the tip of my brush to make those little parts of the twig. You can go over some of the other parts you already did, the branches. I like the contrast of having these big leafy bits and then these tiny small dark little twigs. Okay. Like that. I might add a bit of darkness to some of those berries. So I'm just gonna grab my red, and then I have this like purpley dark color here. You could just add purple and maybe a bit of green, and I'm just gonna kind of add a bit of darkness to the underside of some of these berries. Now I'm gonna wash off my brush because the lines are very harsh, and I'm just gonna blend it out a bit if it's dry. Okay, so my berries were dry, I just added a bit of darkness. Wash and dry off your brush. You can blend out those lines. Let me add a bit more red. Or you could just do it with red again. Just adds a little bit of depth to some of them. There you go. Okay, it's fairly easy. Now we can do, again, a little border. So again, I'm gonna take my brush. I'm gonna use this more yellowy gold now, smaller brush. And again, little border. I'm gonna turn it so I can go this way. So when I do this, I try and use my whole arm. I move my whole arm rather than twisting my wrist, because I feel that's when your lines can get a little bit wonky. Just move your whole arm straight across. Like that. So that only goes halfway. Okay, so let's wait for these to dry and then we can write some messages on them. Okay, so now that I've done my outline, I can go over it in pen. Totally up to you what pen you want to use. I'm just going to use my mono drawing pen from Tombow. Let's erase those pencil marks. And there you go. You can just grab some of those pre-made cards. These are from Michaels, and then I usually hot glue them on. So there you go. There are your beautiful holiday cards. Now I do want to address something. Last year I got a bit of flack for calling it a holiday card tutorial and not a Christmas card tutorial. And you know what? I just want to address it. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, and people's arguments were, well, if they don't celebrate Christmas, they're not going to make these cards. That is untrue. I have friends who don't celebrate Christmas and like to paint and give cards out during the holiday season. I like to give cards for the holiday season to people who don't celebrate Christmas. For an example, one of my closest coworkers when I was working and teaching kindergarten, she did not celebrate Christmas. but that doesn't mean I didn't give her a card. She would give me a card that says Merry Christmas because she knew I celebrated Christmas, and I would give her one that says Happy Holidays because guess what? We were going on a holiday break, so I wanted to give her a holiday card, and that's what I did. So I just find it so frustrating because it doesn't matter what you call it. That is the beauty of making your own cards. You can write Merry Christmas on all of them if you want to. But I just want to make sure that I am being inclusive because everybody matters, and I have so many good friends who don't celebrate the same holidays as me, and I just want to make sure that I am being respectful to everybody. So if you celebrate Christmas, I will wish you a Merry Christmas till I'm blue in the face. But if you don't and I'm not sure what you celebrate, I'm gonna say Happy Holidays because guess what? A new year is coming and that's a holiday, so I'm gonna wish you a Happy Holidays. So I hope that kind of clears it up. I don't want any fights. I just want everyone to be thankful that people are wishing them well, right? So have a wonderful day, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. See you guys later. Bye.